10 years of speculation and accusations. Did Brooks Houck participate in the disappearance and murder of his then-girlfriend, Crystal Rogers? And did he have help doing it? Those are two big questions a Warren County jury must answer beginning this week. Karen Reed, Richard Jewell, and JonBenet Ramsey. What comes to mind when you think about those three? Well, for one, they were huge national cases for years, just like this case. But for all of them, they also had alleged killers who were found to have nothing to do with the crime. That is what Brooks House attorney Brian Butler wants this jury to keep in mind, and he believes that they will find that to be true in his client's case as well.
The defense spent a chunk of time in their opening statement defending a client that's not theirs. Wave News reporter Lena Noakes is live at the courthouse explaining who that is.
Yeah, guys, that would be the only other person accused in this case, Steve Lawson. You'll recall he was convicted of conspiracy in this case and admitting to helping his son Joseph move Crystal Rogers' car on the Bluegrass Parkway the night of July 3rd. He said these admissions under oath in his trial just 3 weeks ago. But Houck's defense team says that they can prove with scientific evidence that those admissions are essentially a lie. Prosecutors have said their case is based on circumstantial evidence, but they urge jurors to use their God-given common sense. And the defense urges the exact same thing, but they say and they insist that without any physical evidence like a body, a weapon, or even an eyewitness to the crime, that everything the prosecution has in their case is based off of guesses and a bunch of theories. Detectives went and located that car and found a hair in the trunk that they tested and determined it to be similar to Crystal Rogers. They found that car obviously at the dealership and were able to do that testing. During that sale to a dealership, they have surveillance video of Nick Houck joining Anna Whitesides to make that sale. And he drove with her in that car to do that. Yet, when they tested for hairs inside that car, there was no evidence that Nick Houck was ever inside because there were no hairs found belonging to him. I bring that up because what we heard during the Steve Lawson trial and are likely to hear during this one is that Joseph Lawson and Steve Lawson's hair are not to be found in Crystal Rogers' car. But the allegations still exist that they helped to move her car onto the Bluegrass Parkway. So then you'd expect that the hairs, which we really have fall off our heads every single day, should also be in that car. So I say this to say, just because it doesn't exist doesn't mean that it doesn't happen to us. They're never able to verify when she comes home because she doesn't. Now, he's asking the jury here to put these pieces together to come to the conclusion that because she doesn't come home, they are supposed to assume that the last person that she was with is the person that is guilty of her murder, that being Brooks Houck. Murder for life, tampering 5 years. That is the maximum on both of those for Brooks Houck, and they would be served consecutively, meaning life in prison. Joseph Lawson, 20 years on the conspiracy to murder charge, also the maximum, as well as 5 years maximum for the tampering with evidence, also to be served consecutively. Like I said, I think this speaks to the jury's certainty about the conviction they came down with. The defense asked for leniency in this case, but the prosecution really doubled down, saying that this is a life sentence for these kids. It's not just a life sentence for Brooks Houck. These kids now have no mother to watch them grow up and no mother to continue to raise them. So he was very adamant that nobody has the right to take someone else's life and get away with it.
You know, the images we were seeing out of Bardstown, it's a moment of embrace among a certain group of the community in Bardstown.
Yeah, a long-awaited result to a mystery that honestly has not been entirely solved, considering that Crystal Rogers' body has never been found. And that is something this family still very much wants. You know, Crystal Rogers' daughter telling us that they believe one day they will bring her home. They just don't know when that's going to be.